the Bunny back in the box.
If you wanna be my Nick Cage, you gotta raw dog some pills. Overact forever, screaming never ends. Welcome to We Gauge Cage.
Welcome to We Gauge Cage.
This is a podcast where we watch every Nicolas Cage movie ever made, from worst to best according to your IMDb ratings, in an effort to determine whether or not he is a good actor, because neither of us are familiar with his work.
Not
I'm your
familiar
host.
enough.
Oh, God damn it. Do you want me to say familiar enough? I had enough in there.
I just like to cut you off.
I had enough in there, and then
just
I
like
took it out.
I just like to cut you off at that part.
We've watched like 3 of his movies.
And for the rest of all time.
Anyway, I'm Brian Ambrosius. With me as always, Zelda to my link, Mr. Brock Kircher.
That's Princess Zelda to you, you son of a bitch.
Hey, how you doing? You're
doing great.
drinking?
I'm gonna get the drink. I'm gonna get the drink out right off the bat. I'm gonna sit back from the mic so that I'm not breathing so heavily.
No, right off the bat, we need to apologize for the last. I need to apologize for the last episode. My audio was shit.
Yeah, something happened where Brian had a little buzzy buzz in the bottom of his microphone, and if he would have been full volume, I think you would have been more pissed. So yes, I was louder, but there was a reason behind it.
You were louder. Your breathing was louder. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was louder. I was closer to the mic. He had to raise me a little bit, drop him a little bit. There's a whole to do.
Why were you louder? Do you remember why?
Because I just finished eating a whole bunch of pasta.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a belly full of pasta. I got a belly full of white dog crap, and now this shit. No, I had a belly full of pasta, and then I sit down, and I'm like making dad noises over here, breathing heavy into the mic.
You even pointed it out before we started recording. Yeah. You were just like, oh my God, pasta?
I had a belly, and it wasn't my favorite meal. It just sat there like a brick.
Well, regardless, we tested the mics. We sound better this one. We're still learning. I can say that as many times as I want because we're only 6 episodes in. We're learning.
Yeah, everybody's trying really hard. Everybody's doing their best.
Yeah, this week we are watching one that people might finally know.
Yeah, might recognize.
Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance.
The Ghost Rider.
The Ghost Rider. We don't know who's writing the books.
Ghost Ride Her. Spirit of Vengeance.
Get that Wisconsin accent out when you say Ghost Rider.
Oh, Ghost Rider. Spirit of Vengeance.
Speaking of Nick Cage, since that's what this podcast is about, we've been seeing newer movies getting released by him because obviously he's not stopping making movies because we're making a podcast.
Dude keeps getting work, and that was kind of the whole point at the jump of this is that he keeps getting work,
and we have to draw the line somewhere though. We can't because we have our ratings. We're going from worst to best. If a new film is released and it's shittier than the ones we've watched, what are we supposed to do? The ratings are what they are. So what I proposed to you was our list is what our list was when we first started the podcast. And at the end, I think we'll have some bonus eps.
Well, here's what I proposed to you is that our list technically was our list when we started, but yet we somehow got Humanity Bureau, which has not been released yet. And technically Mom and Dad, which is his new movie that came out just last week, should have been in front of Humanity Bureau.
No way.
And I think it technically should have in terms of the release, so I don't know how you saw that one instead of Humanity Bureau.
I thought you were saying it should have been in front of it based off of rating.
No, just it should have been on our list, I believe. But also,
it is on our list.
I don't see it.
Brock, it is. It's
it was a 5.9, 5.8. The thing is, it's dropping Because it was a 5.9 like 2 days ago, and then today it was a 5.8.
Well, didn't you say it's certified fresh?
It's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
So the critics like it, audience
Correct.
doesn't.
But also, what I'm finding is that his movies aren't going into theaters. Because I was like, oh, well, if they come out and they're in theaters, we might as well go watch them. Do like a, impromptu app. But they're not coming out in theaters, so there's no real way for us to go see them. I don't know.
I'm looking for Mom and Dad. I saw it earlier today. Oh, there it is, number 24 from the top. So it's a 6.6 when we made the list.
Holy, it has dropped.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's a 5.8 now.
It is a 5.8, and that's why I didn't see it? Okay.
It's it'll be our 23rd movie that we watch.
So
it's right before Bad Lieutenant, Port Call of New Orleans.
Port of Call, New Orleans.
Yeah, that's how I won.
Yeah, you won. So the more that people see it, the worse they're rating it, and it's just tumbling down the charts.
Too bad.
Yes.
It is where it is, man.
I'm excited. It does actually look good. I've seen the trailer for it.
Do you have any Nick Cage stories to share?
Not this week.
Oh, you want to save it?
I watched this. Oh. No, yeah, I want to save it. I do want to save it.
Okay.
Because it's a fantastic story. So, yeah, we're spoiler free.
You know what we haven't talked about in a while? Do you know?
We love each other?
No. But I do love you. You know who I love more than you, though?
The weather.
My wife.
Oh, wow. I love your wife.
You love my wife? Hey, your wife is pretty cool, too. We got some cool wives, man.
My wife is out of town, so she can't even, yell at me. She can't vacuum. My beautiful, caring, just doting wife can't interrupt this podcast.
My wife and I went to the Outback Steakhouse to eat. And we both got this seafood platter that came with a lobster, a crab cake, and some shrimp. And the lady brings it out to us, and there's obviously the melted butter for the lobster, and there's this white there's this white mayo-y looking slop, and you're supposed to put your crab cake in it. And I got a little confused at first. She brought it out, and she's like, "Hey, by the way, this white
tartar sauce."
No, it wasn't tartar sauce. It was some.
Is it horseradish?
I don't know. Regardless, she goes "Hey, by the way, this white one is blah blah blah. It's for the crab cakes." And for a second, I was like, "Wait, which one is it?" And then I was like, "Oh, duh. Wait, the melted butter, obviously for the lobster. So whatever." So we're eating away, and we both she started with her crab cake, and she's eating it. She's like, "Oh, this crab cake is so good." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" Well, I started with my lobster, finished my lobster, and I start moving to the crab cake, and she's eating her lobster then, and she goes, "I don't like this lobster. It's got a funny taste." And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" I was like, "Are you dipping it in the butter?" And she's like, "Yeah." Well, she was dipping it in the fucking tartar sauce or whatever, the horseradish sauce. So basically what I found out is just she likes melted butter because that crab cake tasted delicious when she was dipping it in her melted butter. So then I had to give her the rest of my melted butter so she could finish her lobster.
So she's...
She was accidentally using the melted butter the whole time, and melted butter's pretty good, I guess.
She couldn't tell the difference between melted butter and a creamy, white, frothy...
Yeah. She said her lobster tasted bad because of the white stuff. Anywho, anything else? Should we jump in?
Well, my wife's lobster tastes bad because of my white stuff, too.
That one goes out to our moms.
Love you, Karen.
Dude, my mom is the biggest fan. Well, there's a coworker that works with Leah who's a pretty good fan of ours too, and he's really excited about Good Luck with Your Balls being back.
Wow, good luck with his balls.
Good luck with your balls, Connor. I saw a text between them, and he signed off to Leah. Good luck with your balls. So he's really digging it.
Hey, you can good luck with your lady balls too.
No, it's a guy, Connor.
And puppies, I know, but to Leah. And puppies make us happy, so good luck with your puppy balls as well.
That's gross. Okay, hey, let's jump in. We're in I'm going to call it Ghost Rider 2. I'm going to call it Ghost Rider 2. I don't care.
Well, I'm going to call it Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
Okay.
because that's its name.
So right off the bat, what does happen right off the bat?
Okay, so
Idris.
cut two. Okay, so the first thing about this movie is that I'll give a little background. So this movie was written by a couple big names that I recognize. Scott M. Gimple, who is behind the Walking Dead TV series, and David S. Goyer. Now, name's not familiar, but when I tell you like other things that he's written The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, like all of these like Batman-y movies. I think he even wrote Justice League, maybe, or like had writing credits on it. Like he's done some work, and it's directed by the two guys behind the Crank movies with Jason Statham, and like a few other movies kind of that ilk. So that makes sense when you watch this movie, because I think what happened is like it was written to be a little better, but then the directors got a hold of it and they cranked it out. Like they cranked this one out like hardcore. So
who's the guy that is it Goyer? David S. Goyer?
David S. Goyer.
So I need to, before we begin, not to cut you off, but remember last week how I said our ratings fucked us because now we have to watch Ghost Rider 2 before Ghost Rider? Well, I found an interesting blurb from Mr. Goyer. He says, this is from Wikipedia, so I trust Wikipedia. You know, whatever. It says, this story picks up 8 years after the first film. You don't have to have seen the first film. It doesn't contradict anything that happened in the first film, but we're pretending that our audience hasn't seen the first film. It's as if you took that same character where things ended in the first film and then picked it up 8 years later. He's just in a much darker existential place. So hey, you know what? We're going to determine whether we needed to see that first movie and back up Mr. Goyer's claims.
One thing is that so we have not seen the first movie. We mentioned it before. I haven't seen a clip of the first movie. I have not seen anything regarding the first Ghost Rider. But it looks like it had a much better cast. Like it has Eva Mendes, like it has all of these like studs. Like not David Carradine.
Well, this one has Idris.
Yeah, it does have Idris Elba.
Idris.
Anyway, so let's break it down scene by scene, because here's how Brian likes to do these podcasts. He doesn't like to just go, you know, as a summary of it. He likes to break it down scene by scene for the first third. Then he gets bored. Then he like wants to jump and completely cut out like the second third of the movie, and then he wants to like maybe highlight like the last scene or like the climax, and then gets mad at me when I try to like backtrack. And then we argue, and then we talk about bullshit for like the next 10 minutes, and then we end the podcast. It's great.
Okay, hold on. Again, just to set more of the scene. First Ghost Rider had a budget of $110 million. It grossed $228 million. Ghost Rider 2, not as much money. For some reason, they weren't buying in. $57 million budget, cut in half.
Because it's cheap when you film in Eastern Europe.
And a box office of $132 million.
So people still went and saw it. It did not lose money. That's what's crazy.
This was released in 2011, and Ghost Rider was released in 2007. So it's only 4 years.
But they made it 8. Like, he could have easily made it 4, but he was like, no, it's 8. It's 8.
And this is
8.
You know why? Because he has Nick Cage starring, and Nick Cage is not aging well.
Nick Cage ages, yeah, true.
He probably brought him in and was like, Nick, what is going on? Like, this is supposed to be the next year.
I ran out of shoe polish.
I've taken too many pills.
I don't know. Just let me film somewhere where there's a castle. Okay.
Oh, I have a good thing written down to start this out.
We open up. Eastern Europe is our title card that we have, which is the favorite of my Europes. Like, don't worry about it. Doesn't matter.
Is it? Eastern?
It is Eastern Europe. That is all we get.
Is that your favorite?
Yeah. Why not?
Is it?
Sure. Eastern Europe. Can you name a country in Eastern Europe?
Russia?
That is not Eastern Europe, but okay.
I'm pretty sure Russia has part of it in Europe.
Russia is
Or maybe
not,
the USSR did.
Russia
I don't know.
is not Europe. But
I know it's in Asia, which is so weird. If I told you I was Asian, you have a certain image in your mind, and you don't think of Russian as Asian, and yet Russians are Asians.
Absolutely.
Isn't that weird?
That's so weird.
That's like your sister. She's Filipino, and when I tell her she's Asian, she's like, no, I'm Filipino. But it's like, yeah, but the Philippines are in Asia, so you're also Asian.
Oh.
What the hell? Is that the Ghost Rider?
I think the Ghost Rider's coming for me. I started talking shit. No, that is the water softener system deciding that it wants to choose this time to start cycling through its water softener.
Oh boy, is it done?
I don't think so. It might actually start kicking into overdrive now.
Good.
Maybe
Hey.
it's done.
You need that soft water. How else are you going to get that coif that you have?
Quaff. Yeah.
Coif? Coif? C-O-I-F?
Yeah, with this shitty haircut that I got. Sorry. Poopy haircut. Okay, so we can cut that part out. Cut point!
Nope.
No, we're cutting it.
No, we're not.
We're cutting that. That's like a 30 minutes worth of nonsense. Okay,
30 minutes?
30 seconds. Cut point! All
Is
right.
that like your Roomba alert?
Yeah. Okay. So in this movie, we have it's Eastern Europe, and we are open to a motorcycle rider, which is Idris Elba. So his name is Moreau. He is a priest, and he's like a warrior priest. He's real cool. He wears a leather jacket and stuff. In this movie, there's also a character of Danny, who's like a 14, 15-year-old boy.
13. He's under 13. The devil's like thing. The thing at the end
sure.
had to be under 13.
Dude, he was like an 18-year-old, 12-year-old then.
No.
Yeah. He was like an 18, 12-year-old. Anyway.
No.
His mom's name is Nadia, and she's a gypsy whore.
Spelled N-A-D-Y-A.
Sure.
I had to look up their names.
Now, there is Rourke, who is the devil, and he's a carryover from the first movie.
But different actor.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Different actor.
And he's actually, his actor is, I forgot his name. But
Robert De Niro.
no, it's not Robert De Niro.
He looks exactly like Robert De Niro in some of the shots.
He's Mance Rayder from the Game of Thrones series. So
He looks like Robert De Niro in a lot of the shots.
His name is super hard to pronounce, so if you want to look it up and give it a shot,
Brock?
go right ahead.
Before you tell one of the other character names, I'm going to tell you what I had written down for the bad guy. I didn't know his name for a while, so I put down Steve Harrington from Stranger Things.
Oh, crazy, because I put down Jean Ralphio.
Yes! Because I was thinking John Ralphio as well, but I went with Steve Harrington, and then his name ended up being Carrington. And I was like, hey!
Kerrigan.
Or Kerrigan. Yeah, Kerrigan. Kerrigan Harrington, I mean...
I'm calling him
bad.
John. I'm calling him John Ralphio.
And I will be calling him Steve Harrington. So people got it. When we're talking different names, they're in the loop now.
Yeah, John Ralphio Demon. And then of course we have Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider himself, the Rider. Much like
This...
Frankenstein's monster, I'm gonna call him Ghost Rider's monster, Johnny
Okay.
Blaze.
I'm just going to call him probably Nick Cage.
It's actually Dr. Frankenstein's monster that you're referring to. His name's not Frankenstein.
So guys, Idris comes in, guns a-blazing, because he wants to get the child. He wants to get Danny, but Nadia, like, takes him out. There's guns blazing, and they drive off, and Idris, like, is falling off a cliff, and as he's falling off a cliff, he's shooting the SUV that's following Nadia and Danny's SUV, hits a tire, knocks him out. Nadia and Danny, they're gone.
Yes, much
Good
like
enough?
much like a Crank movie, like it's gonna be like super fast paced and then like slow motion, and then super fast paced and then like super slow motion. They mess with the pacing like a lot in this movie.
Okay, so now I have some really good stuff written down here. So I'm going to say, because the next part is just a voiceover, and I have it all written down. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter how far you run. There are some demons you just can't escape.
I need
My
a
name
little
is-
more cagier than that.
I don't know how to... My name is Johnny Blaze. I used to ride motorcycle for a living. I did a bare-assed 360 triple backflip in front of 22,000 people. It's not funny. It's on YouTube.
It was pretty funny.
Check it out.
Check
it out.
It's pretty funny.
But when my dad got sick, I did something way crazier than that.
And then it shows him, like, basically
Bare
signing
ass.
a contract with the devil. I did a bare ass 360 triple backflip. Okay, can we break that down, though? Because what the heck? Mind you, it was bare ass. I don't know why, but... What does a 360 triple backflip look like? Because that means you spin around
Just once.
horizontally.
Once. No, yeah, horizontally once, but vertically 3 times.
How?
I don't know.
What the F is that?
I
It
wonder
must
if
have been
that's-
funny. I would want to YouTube something like that.
And guys, by the way, they're like while they're doing this narration, it's like cartoons.
It's like, yeah, it's basically
drawings.
like Harry Potter's story with the 3 brothers, like animation in a sense.
So they show
it's
they
a comic book because it's a comic book movie. This is a
show-
Marvel movie. It's Marvel Knights though, and I don't know if there are any other movies in the Marvel Knights universe, but like I could see why there aren't any other movies in the Marvel Knight universe because this one probably didn't do so great.
It got bought out by Marvel or something. Like
Sure.
somehow there were 2 different studios. It got bought out by Marvel, and that's why you didn't get any more shit.
Anyway.
But yeah, it's animated, and they show an animated Johnny Blaze's ass crack, and then like a mom covering the kid's eyes, like, oh no, he can't see this ass crack.
Yeah. So his backstory is basically that he sold his soul to the devil in order to save his dad's life. And because of that, he's possessed by an ancient demon called the Rider. And he sucks the souls out of bad guys.
Yep,
So
praise
we
on-
did not
praise on the
have to
wicked,
see the
sucks
first
the-
movie. That's the first movie, I'm assuming. There you go.
Yeah.
But my favorite part was that he was like it can be for anything, like murder, a white lie, an illegal download. What about you? And you. And while he's doing that, like this like skull is basically looking like left, looks right, and then it looks straight at the camera, and its eyes are like flashing straight at the camera, and I'm like, an illegal download? Shit. How did he know? How did he know? He's coming after us.
A white lie, like everybody. He would be going after everybody.
So he's gonna suck our souls, man. So when you thought that like noise earlier that we cut out of this podcast, was the Ghost
No, we
Rider?
didn't.
It could have been the Ghost Rider.
Shit! I was gonna say something. I don't remember now.
Well, that's also great podcast material.
It was something in regards to the first film. I don't remember now.
That he basically just slashes like his.
Basically, I did read a little blurb from someone. It might have been a YouTube comment or something that said in the first film he didn't frickin' sign the contract. It sounds like it was an accident, almost like a drip of blood like fell out of his wrist or something. Like we'll find out when we watch
it. Makes it look like
but
he smashes a bottle and then like basically drips blood or like slashes blood across the contract. So,
But
he's
it is
probably drunk or high
different.
off of pills.
Okay.
So right away though, I will say flashback check off of the old Nick Cage trope. We haven't seen Nick Cage yet in this movie, so we don't know, but we'll get to him.
Crazy laugh.
Right.
Obviously, I mean that's like in every single one of his.
Okay, so then we get the intro. We should actually start like tracking the Nick Cage laugh because.
Brock, there's so many YouTube videos on it. There's like a 20-minute YouTube video of just Nicolas Cage laughs.
Yeah. But
And I listened to a lot of them.
if there's ever a movie where we don't get the laugh, we're going to know it.
You know what I've been doing lately is I hate to keep going back to this movie, but I've just been spouting off Deadfall quotes to Leah, and she doesn't even know what the hell I'm talking about. I'll be like, "Oh, mommy, don't worry, mommy. We'll go home soon, mommy." And she's just like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, we're gonna be home soon, mommy."
Well, every time you ask me if I'm like ready to record, you text me, "You ready, baby?"
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Nothing to worry about. We're cool. We're cool with it.
Well, anytime I have a reference to money, it's always my money.
My fucking money.
You're telling me you have my fucking money?
Brock, I genuinely love Deadfall. I don't care.
Yeah, Emily is like adamant that that was our worst movie, and I was like, absolutely not, because Arsenal is so much worse. And she's like, no, I stayed awake during Arsenal. I fell asleep 2 minutes into Deadfall.
Well, that's her fault. She didn't wait for the bomb to drop.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
Idris
Oh, I'm sorry.
finds-
What are we talking about? Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance?
Idris finds Johnny Blaze, Nicolas Cage, like sleeping in the middle of nowhere. Basically tells him that Idris's church, if Johnny Blaze goes and gets this boy Danny, that they'll be able to lift the curse that's on Nick Cage.
Yes. Now, our intro to Nick Cage in this particular film finds him waking up from like a nightmare. He's sweaty. He, depending on the angle, like if it's shot from his good side, he does not have a widow's peak. But if it's shot from like the other side, he has like the worst widow's peak imaginable. His hairline like recedes and then like drops down. It's crazy.
Who cares about his widow's peak? Why do you keep making fun of him?
He dyes his hair with shoe polish because his hair changes between movies, and it's just his hair. I get it. Okay. Anyway,
leave the guy alone, man. He's getting old.
yeah.
What he really should probably just shave his head. He's probably to that point where he would look better with a little shorter hair.
Okay, yeah, so basically Nick Cage is like, I've been like hiding out to suppress this demon, and Idris Elba's like, well, don't. And he's like, okay, cool. So then we cut to Nadia and Danny, the mom and the son, who have like escaped, and she like hits on a businessman so that they can like pick his pocket, and like you find out that they're being followed by Jean-Ralphio and
Steve Harrington
and his like goons basically. And here's one thing: they're in Eastern Europe, the favorite of my Europes, and yet everybody has an American accent, like super American accent. So
Hey, you know what we should do?
why
We should
even
post-
be in Eastern Europe?
I don't know, because it's cold and wet. You know, we should post a Twitter poll, and we should see if people think he looks more like Steve Harrington or Jean-Ralphio.
Okay.
And then all the 2 listeners who actually use Twitter can vote on it.
Absolutely.
Yes, so they get away, but then Steve kind of catches up. They kind of back Danny and Nadia into a corner, and boom! Who's there to save the day?
Baby!
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
But yes. Because
a little before that,
he doesn't just become the Ghost Rider whenever he wants to, you guys. He has to, like, Ghost Rider out, much like the Hulk has to Hulk out. He has to get mad and, like, hit stuff in order to turn into Ghost Rider.
not always, just this one time.
He does, like, throughout the movie, it's basically like the Hulk, where, like, he can't get mad or, like, get, like, frustrated with people and, like, sense they're evil, or else he'll turn into the Ghost Rider to suck their soul.
No, one part I was going to talk about right before Nick Cage shows up is with Steve Harrington and his thugs, they were, like, trying to capture Nadia and Danny, and, like, one of the thugs is literally beating up this 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Like, throwing him up against the car and, like, hitting him. Like, I think he punched him even. It's just, again, you know, one of Nick Cage's movies, he's, like, beating up women, and now in this one, they're just beating up children.
It's because he's like an 18-year-old, 12-year-old.
No, he is 12 years old. He does not look... We should post a Twitter poll about this. That kid does not... I wonder how old... I'm going to... You know what? I'm going to look it up. Next podcast, I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to write myself a note. I'm going to find out how old that kid is.
Welcome, everybody, to We Gauge Cage, where we watch Nick Cage movies and then argue about who watched the movie better.
Okay.
And interrupt each other with better points.
So, one thing that really I genuinely liked about this movie is I thought the Ghost Rider looked badass. You didn't think so?
I have a note that says Ghost Rider seems fun. Ghost Rider's monster.
I thought he looked cool.
Ghost Rider's monster seems fun, but his whole move is like to just stand and kind of wobble.
Yeah. No, Nick Cage!
The
Dude,
thing
he is so Nick Cage.
This
The
is
way
Nick
he like
Cage
just wobbles
in
and
mocap.
walks.
Yeah. This is Nick Cage in motion capture, so like it is just Nicolas
Tilting
Cage.
his head from side to side and like swaying. He's
Yeah.
like high. He's drunk.
Yeah.
But
At one
didn't
point-
he look cool?
He like has a chain. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But at one point, like he has a chain, and so he takes out one guy. But then he's literally just like standing in the circle, like in the middle of a circle, with all these guys ringing around him, like shooting him full of bullets, and he's just chilling and like swaying, and like
Yeah.
his like head is kind of bobbing, and he's just kind of like, you know, scoping it out, like surveying the scene, and I'm like, okay, what, like, and it lasts for way too long, and he's just doing it, and I was like, okay. Like,
It's Nick Cage.
What's going on, man?
Nick Cage he's an over actor. I sing it in all my songs at the beginning. That's what I'm noticing. And maybe it's just these movies. Maybe we'll grow out of this, but yeah, he's a big over actor. Anyway, Steve gets away with Danny. Steve Harrington gets away with Danny because of something really stupid. Like Nick Cage could have easily intervened there.
Because
Because he was
John
staring at a guy.
Well, no, because John Ralphio had some slug throwers, he called them. They were these big guns, and he yelled, "Get some," and then shot him with a slug thrower, which apparently can, like, at least affect Ghost Rider, if not.
Steve Harrington
damage him.
is the worst.
Oh.
That actor. There's always at least one actor that's a little worse than Nick Cage in these movies,
Well,
and in this one it's him.
Here's my thing, like, again, Batman Begins level stuff, Walking Dead level, like, writing, with these two writers, yet, did they really write the main bad guy, like, to say, get some?
Oh, Brock, it gets so much worse.
I'm just, like, that's where I'm like, that wasn't the writers, like, that was Crank. That was a Crank, guys.
So apparently
Sorry,
the
Crank
Ghost
guys.
Rider. Apparently, the Ghost Rider can sense where people are or something. That's how he knew where Danny was. So as Steve's driving away with Danny, Steve calls Rourke, the devil. And over the phone, the devil mutters some ancient shit and basically said that he uploaded a firewall to the boy so that Nick Cage couldn't track him. Basically kind of put a curse on him so that Nick Cage couldn't follow him anymore.
Yeah, but my favorite line was that he goes, like, he's like a computer. You know computers, right? I uploaded a program. I'm just like,
So
you know
now
computers, right?
Now we flash back to Nick Cage. He's in a hospital. One thing I noticed in this scene was he kept grabbing his hand. Like, I don't know, is that going to come back in the first... Oh, that's probably from the first movie when he sliced it to sign the contract. I don't know. But he runs into Nadia, and they basically agree they should team up to find Danny. So they start hitting the road. Brock?
Oh, yeah.
What
26
happens-
minutes in, time stamper.
What? It's actually more like 25:52 or something, but what happens when they hit the road?
Well, Nick Cage has been begging for
Tell me what happens!
morphine, and Raw Dog's gonna raw dog, baby!
He raw dogs those pills!
Raw Dogger's
dog.
gonna raw dog.
He just takes that fucking bottle and he starts pouring them in like they're Tic Tacs.
I would almost come up with the fan theory that said that Nick Cage has like a really like slowed down version of rabies where he's scared of water. But we see him chugging water later in this movie, so I know that that's not true. He just refuses to take water with his pills. And so that's what, I don't know if we've ever actually explained what we mean by raw dog and pills, and it should maybe be obvious to people. It's not just that he's like doing, it's that he's taking pills without ever taking like a drink afterwards. He just like swallows
And they're
pills raw.
They're not chewables. He's swallowing these suckers, man. It is hard to swallow. I've tried. Like, if I don't have water nearby, I will build up saliva and try to use my spit to get it down. It's hard. You can't just easily swallow these pills, man.
Emily, my beautiful, beautiful wife, raw dogged some pills in front of me one night when we were like dating, before we were even engaged or married. I saw her like take like a ibuprofen or whatever and just raw dog it, like, and I was so just appalled and somewhat like amazed that I gave her the nickname Raw Dog Milky Bones Jones. I don't know why, but I just started calling her Raw Dog Milky Bones Jones, and so that nickname has like stuck with her since through her
No,
marriage.
it hasn't.
Yeah. I call
I've
her.
known her, what? How long have you known her?
I call her RDMBJ, Raw Dog Milky Bones Jones.
How long have you known her?
Like 3-4 years.
So I've known her for like 3 years, 2-3 years, and I've never once heard you say that.
I mean, it's not a nickname that like you would hear because, you know.
Because I don't live by you, because you live in Arizona and I live in Minnesota,
Yeah.
and I don't know anything about Arizona.
How many times have you seen my wife Raw Dog a pill?
I haven't. I've only seen your wife
Only
in
met your
person.
wife.
Maybe. How many times do you think? Like 8, 9?
Yeah.
Sad. As they're driving, Nadia explains that Danny is basically the bastard child of the devil. That I don't remember why she needed to do it, but it was basically another bargaining thing, kind of like Nick Cage, why he's the Ghost Rider.
Apparently she got
and Nick,
tossed out a window and then
Yeah,
was dying,
something.
so she signed a contract. That's what I picked up.
and Nick Cage turns to her and goes, "So you're the devil's baby mama?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Thanks.
I guess she is.
Thanks, Nick.
Then
He
it cuts to
mumbles
another.
about why the devil walks around on Earth in human form anyway, because apparently when he's in human form, he's weak. But that's why he needs Danny, is because, like, he doesn't have all of his powers when he's in Rourke, the human form. But if he can get into Danny, then he will have, like, full access to his powers, or at least more access to his powers. That's what I picked up.
We just need this grown-ass man to get inside this 13-year-old boy.
He just needs to get into the little boy's soul
Yeah. Hey, I should be saying that.
if he doesn't want to pay the troll toll.
I should be saying that because It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference, and then people say I sound like a character from there. No other reason that I said that. While they're explaining all that, though, it's another cartoon, like, animated thing, and they talk about how
Yeah.
the devil has taken different forms, and they show, like, pictures of, like, Stalin, and pictures of, like, these other, like, a clown, and then all of a sudden it goes to a real-life picture of Jerry Springer.
Maybe he passes around from body to body, waiting for the perfect fit.
But
And
it's
then-
another animated.
Yeah.
It's showing animated faces, and
Yeah.
then it goes to a real version of Jerry Springer, and I'm
Jerry
just like,
Springer.
what
And it's like, wait,
What?
What? Like,
Why?
that's the point you're trying to make here? Like, what do... Oh, by the way, the directors' names are Neville Dean and Taylor, which I've heard before. But yeah, like, Jerry Springer, that's the bone that you're gonna pick right now, is with Jerry Springer. Also, this movie's like super racist against gypsies. Like, they have like a lot of like inflammatory lines against gypsies, and Nadia is apparently a gypsy, and like I don't know, racism's real. Like, these directors they got some issues that they're working out in this one.
Danny, meanwhile, is starting to get a little more powerful. Well, I don't know if he got powerful, but he basically takes the henchman's steering wheel while he's driving and crashes the car.
He's
Danny
not
hurts his...
powerful. He's just an asshole.
No, not yet. Yeah. He crashes the SUV, and he ends up hurting his ankle as he's getting away. That's a little important, I guess. Cut back to Nadia and Nick. They're getting in. They're getting close. And Nadia goes, "Am I going to regret taking you?" And Nick Cage, he's chewing gum really wildly.
Yeah.
He just goes, "Yeah, probably."
Yeah.
We're getting the crazy Nick.
Yeah, and it's because he like is around so many corrupt souls, and one thing when he first shows up as Ghost Rider is that Ghost Rider's monster says like hungry. So that's the thing, is that like the Ghost Rider's monster is just like super hungry for souls. And so like when he gets around bad people, that's why, like, he starts, like, hulking out, and he starts Ghost Ridering out, and he, like, really wants to chew on some souls.
And I'm sorry, but I said that they were getting close to Steve. Actually, they were going to some other people to figure out where Steve could possibly be.
Sure.
Because now he goes to, like, this weird, like, auditorium place, and they find a guy that has information. And while Nadia's, like, trying to get information from this guy, Nick Cage is just in the back. He's like, "He's scraping at the door! He's scraping at the door!"
That was, yeah.
What?
I'm gonna spoil it right now. That was my cagiest moment of this film.
Is it already?
He's scraping at the door! Scraping at the door!
And then so it's a man that they're trying to get the information from, and he goes, "Do you understand? Do you understand?" And like, so he's repeating himself.
Yeah.
And then he gets a little bit of the information, and he like pats his head or something and goes, "Good girl."
Yeah.
So apparently
he calls
that's
him
another
a girl
thing, calling
again.
men girl.
He loves calling men girls. He loves like to emasculate men.
Because doesn't he do that in Deadfall?
Yes.
That's where we keep getting the baby girl from. Oh yeah,
Well,
when
the
he's
baby girl, and
slicing
then,
that one.
Who sent you, baby girl? Yeah.
Who sent you, baby girl?
Okay. Here's
Sam fucking Peckinpah.
You're trying to kill me, man. So one thing, so this auditorium, it's like a weird, like, fighting ring, but
Like a
I don't know
cockfighting ring.
whether they're men fighting each other, whether they're dogs fighting dogs, whether they're men fighting dogs. Like, I don't know what is happening. It never goes into it. You never show
I was just gonna
anything.
say it doesn't matter,
But like,
because they're only there for
what is,
a minute.
yeah, what is this world? And it did not need to. The scene did not need to happen. But
No,
it's
they could've
all
just gone to
because Nick Cage like is trying to contain the Ghost Rider in front of like this bad guy, and Nick Cage like really wants to eat him, but like is like, and so the whole time, yeah, like Nick Cage's face is like popping, like you can tell like the Ghost Rider's trying to come out. Because
Yeah,
it's like
there'll be a big
with the
black
Hulk
spot
turning
over
green.
one eye, like a skull
Yeah.
is coming through.
Like with the Hulk turning green, Nick Cage's face like starts sculling out.
And this is where we do get hit the transformation, the first transformation. He's riding on his motorcycle, and it's just this really weird like camera angle. What?
Sorry.
Scraping at the door?
Yeah, that's one
but-
of my new favorite lines.
While he's like riding on this motorcycle, we get a really weird angle, and we just see his face like getting meshed up, and it's really weird.
Oh.
And apparently in the first movie, the transformation is much better. You actually get to see it. So I'm kind of excited to see the differences here, because they totally cut out completely changing him
yeah.
due to probably budget reasons.
Well, this is like, and this is also like super cranky. Like it's
oh yeah, it is.
Cranky Doodle, because like that's what Crank is like too. Crank gets really frenetically like super jump cuts, and like everything's like jump cut, which is like when you cut from like one scene to like a completely unrelated thing, or like you just jump forward in time like 5 seconds, no reason, but they just do it. And so at 32:59 we get like this laugh that's just such a maniacal like
Yep.
and like it's cagey time. And so yeah, he turns into Ghost Rider and just starts going nuts.
And they meet up at a minefield or whatever, and there's this huge mine equipment thing. I actually kind of thought this scene was pretty cool. Steve and Danny and the henchmen are all at this weird, like, it's a mine.
It's like an excavation site.
It's a huge machine.
It's a huge like saw blade. Like I don't know what it's called. It's an excavator.
I don't know how to describe. If you look up the Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance Wikipedia, there's a picture of it on there. Shows how big it is.
And
But
any vehicle that Ghost Rider, because he's the rider, like hops into, turns into like a fire vehicle. Like it has flames, and it's like a possessed demon vehicle.
which is fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
No, it's cool. And so now we
kinda
have
cool.
a possessed demon excavator.
Yeah. So Nick Cage gets up there. The Ghost Rider gets up there. Well, before that, again, Nick, when he first comes there with the
John
with
Ralphio.
the henchmen.
John Ralphio has
what-
just bought some like fucking nukes, or not nukes, but
Yeah,
like warheads.
heat-seeking missiles.
Yeah, and like bunker busters they call them, bunker buster missiles, and he fires it at Nick Cage as Nick Cage is like riding toward them, which I'm like, these are bunker buster missiles, which they just explain about how badass they are and how they suck the air out of the environment, and yet like something's coming toward you, and yet you fire a heat-seeking missile at something that's coming toward you. Like, does that seem like the smartest idea? Anyway.
Nope. But I was going to say is that we get more of the mannerisms of the Ghost Rider, like being Nick. You can tell it's still Nick Cage in that motion capture because, again, just the mannerisms, nodding the head, and it's kind of cool when he takes his chain out and he's like disintegrating the guys. That's kind of what his chain does. But after he gets hit with a couple of those bunker busters, that's when he finally hops in the excavator and he's freaking going to town with this thing. He's crushing people. It's really cool. And he's about to kill Steve. Mm-hmm. And for some reason...
He just doesn't.
He doesn't. Because all of a sudden, now Danny and Nadia... He's got... What happened? Why did he go after Danny and Nadia? I don't remember.
He something, I think, like the Ghost Riders monster in him decided that he... and yeah, that joke isn't getting old yet. He's decided that... like, he remembers that Danny is the one that's supposed to lift the curse, and he doesn't want to be cursed, so he just decides to take Danny. I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense at the time.
It doesn't.
Because, like, again, he's hungry. And if he's so hungry, he doesn't, like, ever wait around to actually eat souls. Like, he just kills them with chains and excavators.
He stares at him. And he stares at him.
Yeah.
Danny somehow...
And it takes a long time for him to suck a soul. Like,
yeah.
It's like a really passionate, like, grips the back of their head and, like, stares in and, like... Because we see it happen to, like, one guy. And he, like...
It takes a minute.
Yeah, he, like, you know, pivots his head side to side because it's kind of like when you're going for the kiss and you don't know, should I go left, you go right? And, like, yeah, and it just... The guy, like, you know, his eyes get wide and he's like, oh, okay, what's happening? What's... Ah! And then, you know, eventually his soul gets sucked out, So,
I don't remember if Danny actually put out the flames or if, like, the flames just went out around Danny, but somehow Nick Cage calms down. Danny, Nadia, Nick Cage, they're all together. The next day or morning or something, they're at a restaurant, and in the restaurant, Nadia's off getting something, and it's just Nick Cage and Danny at the table. And Nick Cage looks over and sees a dad, like, playing with the kid's hair, his son's hair, and he notices that Danny is looking at it. So Nick Cage reaches over and tries to play with the kid's hair, and the kid, like, gives him a look, and Nick Cage goes, "There was a bee. I thought it was going to sting you in the face." Bees!
and we know
Not the bees!
that Nick Cage does not like bees. So Nick Cage was not... Yeah, so he tries to, like...
Was that a callback?
I don't... Maybe. Could be.
It was so weird.
Could
Why
be.
is that scene?
was
Well, it's
a
trying
bee.
to show, like, oh, it's Nick and Danny that
Thought
are
it was
becoming
gonna sting
father.
the face. And, like, yeah, so, like, Nick is trying to play Johnny Blaze as, like, this really, like, aloof, like, carefree, like, I'm a cool guy, like, but it's such a weird moment. And then he chugs water from a pitcher, like, because I guess his head was on fire. So,
I
like,
guess he's thirsty.
so, yeah. So now he
But he
has
doesn't
to...
pour it in a glass. Yeah, he's got the whole freaking pitcher.
Yeah, so he grabs a pitcher and just starts chugging it. And, you know, Nadia and Danny are both, like, shooting him weird looks, but that's it. I will say, back to, like, there's a fight scene at one point where, like, you mentioned last movie, like, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Well, I think it's with Nadia. Like,
Yeah.
you can bring a knife to a gunfight if you're just going to toss the knife, like, up in the air as a distraction and then pull a gun and shoot them while they're trying to catch the knife. Which is
No, the guy actually caught the knife and, like, stared at her.
Yeah.
And then finally she shot him. It's just like, why didn't you shoot him? Why are you throwing a knife from 10 feet away? What if you threw a knife at me from 10 feet away, it might cut me, but it's not going to do anything.
Yeah. But she tosses it, like, up in the air so that he catches it, yeah. And then she shoots him with the gun that she had, which is a classic move in my favorite gym sport when we used to be back in high school of blood ball.
Oh, blood
I
ball,
love
dodgeball.
Yeah. So we didn't have dodgeball back in school. We had blood ball, and it was basically dodgeball with, like, a few tweaked rules. And it was the best. Like, it was so fun. And that was a classic move. Was like, if you have a ball, like, and the other person caught the ball, you are out. But if you could toss that ball up in the air, and then while they were going and looking to catch it, you just drill them right in the belly. It's the belly.
Right in the throat. Oh, no, you can't do the throat. You'd get kicked out.
Yeah, if you got hit in the face.
So
Classic blood ball move. Good job, Nadia.
Following the restaurant scene, it cuts back to Steve, who's buried under some rubble. Rourke comes up, turns Steve... Like, Steve dies. And Rourke turns him into
here's the
something
thing.
else.
Rourke says, "You are to fulfill your obligation," and Steve says, "Sorry, jackass, but I'm dead."
And then he dies. And then, so Rourke transforms him into... did you know what the superhero's name is? I saw it at one point. It's like
Nope.
Sling Blade or something.
He had the power of decay. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. When he touches things, they decay. Which includes... We'll get to it, but he's trying to eat at one point, and he takes out a sandwich. It dies. He takes out an apple. It dies. He takes out a Twinkie. Guys, Twinkies are indestructible. He can eat a Twinkie.
Yeah.
That was so stupid.
So that is like a really weird thing how like I guess his name is Blackout.
Yeah, that apparently comic book people aren't very happy because the only thing about Blackout that he has is the name and the look.
Yeah,
otherwise he doesn't have a lot of Blackout powers.
I'm looking at
he does
Wikipedia and
he does make it go black when he can make it go black before he decays people, but yeah, people weren't happy with Blackout. Kind of like Deadpool in X-Men Wolverine.
No shit. Yeah. Well, he was the Deadpool and X-Men Origins Wolverine version of any villain because
that's another thing about why people don't like this movie is because apparently Ghost Rider, just like Deadpool, like it almost has to be rated R for the violence for like I don't know if he cusses a lot or something.
Oh, you said Deadpool. I thought you said Deadfall. Sorry. Deadpool. Yeah.
Yeah. But
they
didn't want to make it rated R because they wanted it to sell tickets, so they made it a PG-13.
Naturally.
Okay, so now
John Ralphio loses his perfectly coiffed hair and has like white stringy hair, and he's like got like this like makeup to the nines, and he just looks like a gross like zombie demon person. And yeah, there's some sort of fascination with Twinkies in this movie because earlier in the film, at one point, like there's a guy who like can't run, like one of the henchmen can't run, and he says like, "I told you to lay off the Twinkies," and it's like, why is it always the Twinkies' fault? Like, why? Twinkies is just too cliche. Like, you can switch it up a little bit. But yeah, so they have a problem with Jerry Springer, and they have a problem with Twinkies. Like, I don't get it.
And gypsies.
Yeah, it's weird.
So now we cut back to Nick Cage and Danny. They're sitting on the back of a tow truck where the motorcycle is, and they're like working on it. Again, father-son bonding, while Nadia's driving. And at one point, Danny asks Nick Cage, "What if you have to pee while you're on fire?" And Nick Cage goes, "Oh, it's awesome. It's like a flamethrower." And then they do another animated thing and show the Ghost Rider pissing flames.
Yeah, with Nick Cage like knees bent, like just sitting there like kind of like bouncing up and down with like a stream of flames coming from his dick.
And he turns towards us and nods his head yes as he's peeing. Yeah, look at these piss flames.
Again, not necessary, but like appreciated, I guess. Because it comes back again in the movie. Like at one point,
it's so stupid.
Okay, I'm gonna save this all for the end. Keep going. Sorry.
Well, anyway, one part I found ridiculous is then they take the motorcycle off the tow truck and they just start doing tricks with the motorcycle while Danny's sitting on the handlebars and Nadia's just like laughing. Look at that kid out there doing tricks. That's not safe. What kind of mom are you to that demon child?
Hey, he did a bare ass 360 triple backflip in front of a crowd of 22,000 people. You think he can't
handle a kid?
Yeah, pull a wheelie with a kid on the handlebars? He used to ride a motorcycle for a living.
All right. Now we get to this.
Now he rides a motorcycle for a killing. Huh? He used to ride it for a living. Now he does it for a dying? What do you think?
A killing.
What do you think?
I like a killing.
Yeah. I worked on it.
We meet up with Idris. Idris is back. And we're in these like
I don't
weird
like how
dunes.
you pronounce his name, but keep going.
Is it Idris?
Idris, like Idris Elba. Idris.
Brock, what is Idris Elba? What is that?
Idris Elba is a name.
Well, so to help me pronounce a name, you picked another name?
His name is Idris.
Yeah. Well, but if I'm pronouncing it wrong, saying it with another name that I don't know isn't going to help me.
Well, I'm just saying you pronounce it I, and it's E.
Well, because it's Idris.
It's Idris. You could call him Moreau. His name is Moreau. You could call him Moreau.
Why can't I call him? I've been calling him Idris this whole time,
Yeah.
and now 50 minutes in, you decide to say something
It's
about it.
grinded my gears, man, this whole time.
We're at this weird place, and there's a bunch of monks around, and
Ibis Elba.
Idris goes, "You mustn't be afraid. It was a god who sent you here." Nick Cage turns to the main monk and goes, "Sup."
Yep.
Just thought I'd throw
Because
that out
again,
there.
he's aloof Mr. Johnny Blaze.
The monks take Nadia and Danny, presumably to get the devil out of him. Idris takes Nick Cage to this wine cellar where they have a 2,000-year-old wine.
Mm-hmm.
Is that safe?
It's not safe. Not when you know what you're doing. Not when you're cool.
I know you like old wine, but how old is too old? Like,
I don't know.
no, seriously, answer me. How old is too old?
Well, coming from a connoisseur and a sommelier such as myself, I will tell you that once it hits that 2002, pretty skunky. But
What is sommelier? Why did you pull that word out?
because
That's a weird word to use there.
sommelier is a wine professional, and I know words.
Ugh.
I have words. I have some of the best words.
I've gotten comments about your words from my mom. She says you use big words.
I can't help it.
Or-
I just do.
Was that my mom? Maybe that was my wife Leah. I don't know.
Maybe. Well,
In what's that?
it's nothing. Keep going.
Are you sure?
Take it away. Yeah. Well, so the main monk, though, is... I thought it was Aaron Eckhart again. But he's got a ton of makeup on. And it's not Aaron Eckhart. It is Christopher Lambert, who is... the name might be familiar. He's the Highlander. He's the actor in the Highlander movies. And also played Raiden in the Mortal Kombat movie. Like,
Okay.
Christopher Lambert was like a person of note, and I thought he looked familiar, but it's not Aaron Eckhart. But they do look kind of similar. Anyway, that's all.
In this wine cellar, there's a separate room called the Room of Light, where Nick Cage has to go to like get the demon out of him or whatever.
Yeah.
And he starts transforming and laughing hysterically.
Oh,
and at one point,
it's a crazy
at-
scene.
At one point, he goes, "Merry Christmas, you assholes!"
Yes. Why?
Because he's transforming. He's getting rid of the Ghost Rider.
Yeah, but I don't understand why it's Merry Christmas, you assholes. Anyway,
Merry Christmas, you assholes!
yeah. And then he says, "Pretty neat, huh?" And then he says, "Peace, brother." I don't know. I have those quotes. I don't know why.
The words were very weird. After he's done, he gets back by the monks, and they find out that the monks are actually going to try to kill Danny. They're not going to try to free him. They're going to try to kill him.
Well, yeah. Okay.
All the monks circle around Danny, and the main monk pulls out a way too big sword. Like, he's overcompensating for something. That sucker was 4 feet
It's
long.
Christopher,
How is he
it's
even...
Christopher Lambert, man. All he knows is big swords. He's like the Highlander.
How is he
Probably
holding
a
that in
callback to the Highlander.
Yeah, maybe. Well, and then Steve shows up, but this is new zombie Steve, and he starts killing the monks, and at one point he goes, "Peace, brother." Because
Oh,
he's got
maybe
the worst
that's
one-liners.
That's his lines. Okay, that's why I have those. He goes, "Pretty neat, huh?" And then he says, "Peace, brother," and he like holds up a peace sign. Anyway, okay. So now they got to go to Turkey. So now we move from Eastern Europe to Turkey. And apparently we got to go to a place called Uzak which is the farthest place from heaven, according to the movie. And I'm like, it's interesting. Why this
Steve
is the farthest place from heaven.
Steve did steal Danny at this point.
Yes.
We should make that clear. So Steve has Danny. I don't know how he took him, because he can't touch him, because he
But, he
died.
left, but like, so I don't understand, like, I'm pretty sure Nick Cage, Nadia, and Idris were all, like, around, and yet then they weren't. And then Steve shows up and zombifies all the priests and then gets away with Danny. But Yeah, there's a whole
Yeah.
ton of inaccuracies in this movie about like what he can and can't touch, and like what turns
Well,
zombie and
also-
what doesn't, and like why
Also-
he can potentially touch numbnuts. Danny,
right, because one of the first
Danny
things
has
that
powers.
Steve touches, one of the first things Danny touches is a piece of wood that decays in his hand.
Not-
So you're like,
not
holy
Danny,
shit.
Steve.
Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Here it goes. Steve touches a piece of wood that decays in his hand, so you're like, oh, he can't touch anything. But then he touches a lot of things. But also with Nick
You think
Cage
he can
being the
masturbate?
Ghost Rider. Yes.
Oh,
I think he can touch himself. Because I think he's dead.
that would suck. He's shooting out like ghost loads.
Yeah. But also, I think the Ghost Rider isn't supposed to like light. Like that was a very quick scene at the beginning with
Oh,
Idris, and I think that's also a key factor in the first film. And it's like this Ghost Rider cares for one scene, and then he doesn't give a shit if it's light out.
Yeah, maybe that's why he was chugging water.
Maybe, I don't know. This is the point where Rourke comes up to Danny and reveals that his human body is too weak. And, Danny asks him what happened to your face. And this is where Rourke goes, think about a flamethrower. And then that's where it goes back to the Ghost Rider pissing flames.
That's why we get treated to the same. But at one point when they have Danny... Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
No, what were you going to say?
At one point when they have Danny, like, John Ralphio shoves him out of the car and says, go take a piss. So I just want to say, again, this movie's obsessed with piss. And, like, the Humanity Bureau was also obsessed with piss. Why?
Yeah.
Why is everybody obsessed with piss? Like,
I loved on the latest Bachelor when they're pretending to drink pee, and Leah just goes to me,
I've seen
children drink their own piss. Nice. What else happens here?
So there's a huge ritual being planned between all these world leaders and politicians for the devil to inhabit Danny, and they're in this like abandoned coliseum, and they're all
There's probably 100
in
people.
hoods and like chanting and shit, and in rides Nick Cage and Idris, but Nick Cage can't be the Ghost Rider anymore, so it's just literally Nick Cage and Nadia, and they meet up with Idris, and he's like got all these guns, and then Nadia's like, oh, I like you more now, and I'm like, did you like him before? Like, what the hell? And like, since when are you like this gun aficionado? All you were was a whore who like got knocked up by the devil, and now all of a sudden like you're a spy? I don't get it. But whatever. Idris and Johnny Blaze go running off in order to like knock dudes out, while Nadia all of a sudden is an expert sniper. So the thing is, like, she now is like taking dudes out. She's so good that the dudes are falling before the gunshot noise even goes off. And they're reacting like by getting shot, like, and they're like getting hit, not even from like the body part that like the target is on. So like she could be like have like the target centered around like their leg, and they'll like act like they did like a headshot every single time and just crumple. It's ridiculous. I don't like it. But then also like Johnny Blaze isn't anything on his own. He's a Ghost Rider, but like he was a motorcycle person.
He's a stunt driver.
Yeah. Whereas Idris Elba is actually like a warrior priest. So like Idris Elba is a badass. Like Idris Elba is a like borderline superhero in his own right. And Johnny Blaze is just Johnny Blaze. Like,
Well, okay, so the devil is up there, and him and Danny are like swaying back and forth. We see a close up of Danny's eyes turning black, like the devil's starting to enter him a little bit. And they just come up, and Nick Cage just punches the devil. Like,
Yeah.
that's good enough.
all you need
Steve
is a
comes
good
up.
punch, as we've seen in past movies.
Steve
any
comes
movie.
up, and he's about to kill Nick Cage. Nick Cage is off stage just a bit. Steve comes up. He holds on to Nick Cage a little too long. Like, with his decaying powers, Nick Cage should have been dead.
Yeah, and like he draws like a line across his forehead, but like.
But it
I think
disappears
there's
the next
a
scene.
little bit of like the rider still left in Nick Cage though too. Like
No, I
don't-
don't think so.
or some-
I think that's a continuity
there's some
error.
shit going on.
Because
Well, at one point
because
too, like what's his dick, John Ralphio, Zombie Boy, like Blackout, is on a hood of a car, and him and Nick Cage are like
That's next.
getting in a fight, and he like
That's next.
touches the windshield, and the windshield starts
Decays.
spidering and decaying, and it's like, oh, you can decay glass now too? Like, okay, cool. So
but
your powers get to work when
Danny-
you want them to, I guess.
Danny sees Steve about to kill Nick Cage, and he comes over and he's got a little bit of devil in him, and he shoots the fire back into Nick Cage.
So-
Nick Cage has the Ghost Rider
so
again.
he's like, hey, to the devil, like, hey, you said that I have like all the powers you have, right? And the devil's like, sure. And so he's like, cool, I'm gonna kill Nick Cage. And instead he gives him like a little embrace, and then he burps fire into his face for like 5 seconds. And so yes, Nick Cage is Ghost Rider again. Bum bum bum.
And they all set off. They're all trying to get away.
And he has flaming taco meat. I will
Yes,
say
he
that.
does. They all get away, and like you said before, there are fights on top of like the SUVs and stuff. And
Yeah,
it
it's
looks
kinda
like
anticlimactic.
it looks like Steve is about to kill Nick Cage. They're hanging off the edge of the hood, and he says something to Nick Cage that gets him a little riled up, and Nick Cage just comes back full force.
Oh yeah, they're
Kills
driving along
Steve.
a highway for like fucking 20 miles.
Throws Steve under the wheels, runs him over. He's dead. Nick Cage, in Ghost Rider form, looks back and goes, "Roadkill,
Roadkill.
roadkill."
Yep.
And then at that point after he said roadkill, I was like, dude, this is Batman and Robin bad.
Yeah. Well.
Just with the lines.
Yeah. And
The one-liners
Yeah,
and
the
stuff.
one-liners. And so then he catches up with the devil, wraps him in his chain, and says, like, I'm gonna send you back to where you came from, or I'm
He says
gonna send you home.
he just says, "Go home."
Go home.
As the Ghost Rider, apparently he can only speak in 2-word sentences. Go home.
Roadkill.
Shoves him in the ground. Devil's back in the ground. Danny looks dead. And in Ghost Rider form, Nick Cage picks up Danny. It's like, would those flames freaking hurt?
Not. He's like the devil. He's like half the devil.
But he's dead. Well, anyway, he's dead.
He's half
And
the
then
devil.
Nick
He can't
Cage.
die. He's a fucking devil. He's the Antichrist.
Yeah. At one point in the film, Idris said that basically the Ghost Rider was a fallen angel. So Nick Cage, while Danny's like dying there,
Yeah.
he goes, Idris told me. Well, he didn't say Idris, but whatever. Idris told
Bro.
me that the angel is inside me. It like does a weird Nick Cagey laugh or something, and then he starts turning blue, and he saves Danny.
Yeah, so Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance is because he used to be a fallen angel, but then he got like betrayed, so now he's a spirit of vengeance. But he could be the angel of not vengeance. And so
Yeah.
or like the angel of vengeance, because he used to be like an angel that like weighed the good versus the evil, I think, but then he just became like a dick who just did the evil. I don't know. So yeah, so he
Danny wakes up.
turns blue
and he
instead of
goes-
orange, and blue.
Yeah, I
Blue
said
Ghost
that.
Rider's good.
Blue saved
Yeah.
him. And Danny wakes up and goes, "Did we win?" Nick Cage goes,
I'm going
to. Now he's actually Nick Cage. He goes, "I'm going to say yes. Hell yes."
Nailed it.
And that's the end.
Nailed it. But no, that's not the end, because then he says, "My name is Johnny Blaze.
Oh yeah,
I'm the Ghost Rider.
I'm the Ghost
My
Rider.
name is-
I wrote that
My
book.
name is Johnny Blaze. This needed some more Ghost Riders." Like,
But that's it. That's the whole movie.
that is. Also, always wear a seatbelt. One thing that I did just want to mention across this whole movie is that like there's a whole lot of driving scenes, guys, and they're on roads. There is nobody else in Eastern Europe ever at all on these roads. They are, constantly the only vehicle on the entire road every single time that they're driving.
Would you?
In the first scene, they're like the only two vehicles driving from that thing. In the one scene where they're popping wheelies on the road and like driving the tow truck, the only vehicle for miles on this road. And then in the end scene, the only two vehicles for miles. Like there's never any other cars. There's never any other any other people in Eastern Europe. Maybe
You know what's
that's why this
interesting?
was in quote-unquote Eastern Europe.
You know what's interesting is I read about this town or the city in China that the government was trying to build, and they put like freaking 8-lane highways in and all these buildings, and it ended up failing. So now there's just these. It's a city that no one lives in except homeless people, and it's got like 8-lane highways and no one lives there. So maybe
Yeah.
it's something like that.
Maybe.
There we go. I just helped it
was
out.
just crazy. But yeah, I also want to just say, as this movie comes to an end, so I was gonna save that whole like obsessed with piss again thing, because this movie is like an amalgamation, big word for you, of like all the other movies that we've watched. It had so many ties to the Humanity Bureau. Think about it. Nick Cage is tasked with helping a mother and a son. The son who's like really good at getting away from the bad guys who keep wanting to try to kidnap him. Like, it's obsessed with piss. Like, he's raw dogging pills. This was essentially like Nick Cage's audition tape for the Humanity Bureau.
Yeah,
The
maybe.
Humanity Bureau was basically just a remake of Ghost Rider. Spirit of Vengeance.
I had a good line that I didn't get to say when he first transformed, and I was like, because he looked really relieved once he transformed, and I was like, you know, it's like a really big poop that finally comes out.
Well,
Like you're struggling, it kind of hurts a little bit, and then it just comes out, and you're like, oh, thank God.
considering how he delivers all of his lines, like, where he's always just like, I did a bare ass! 360 triple backflip! Like,
All right, you already said your Pete Cage moment. I think mine has to be that whole scene too. Actually, just where he's very high pitched. He's got the laughter. He's overacting. Yeah, that's my Pete Cage moment.
he's scraping at the door! Scraping at the door!
Right before he transforms for the second time. There, that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
That's like 30 minutes in.
We gotta go! We gotta go! We gotta go! We gotta go!
The only thing standing between you and the rider is me. And he's scraping at the door! Scraping at the door! Who am I if you don't tell me what I want to know? I'm gonna let him out. When he's done with you, there won't be anything left. Do you understand? Do you understand? Shake your head, yes or no. Good girl.
And then Brock, was he a good actor?
No, he's not a good actor. I'm starting to really, I guess, diagnose that question or dissect that question because I don't think he's a good actor. I don't think he's good. I think other people though still treat him like he's good, and will talk about him like he's good. But I don't think he's good. Do I think that like people go to see his movies because they know he's going to be crazy? Yes. Will I say that
Brock.
this movie was like more entertaining than the ones that we've watched recently? Yes.
Yeah. Oh God,
And
yes. That's what I said to you. I was like,
entertaining? Sure. But
yeah,
like
but not for the right reason.
sometimes it gets real like old real quick and like
What? Like, here's the difference between Nick Cage and, like a Jim Carrey. Is Jim Carrey is being over the top in comedies. Mm-hmm. When you go and watch Dumb and Dumber or Liar Liar, it's a comedy.
The Mask.
He is over the top in what's supposed to be a serious role. He's like, you wouldn't see Bruce Willis acting like this
Yeah.
in these action-y movies that Nick Cage is in.
Mm-hmm.
But
True.
let me ask you this. What defines a good actor? Because wouldn't a good actor be someone who makes you want to watch a movie again, like, based off their performance?
I guess. Are any of these movies that we've watched so far rewatchable?
Deadfall.
I don't want to rewatch
I keep going back to
I don't
Deadfall.
want to rewatch it though.
What if you had to rewatch Deadfall, where would you stop watching it?
I don't know if I was starting to watch Deadfall, if I could get past like the market scene, honestly. I don't want to watch it because like anytime it
I
doesn't
love
have
Deadfall.
Nick Cage, I don't want to watch it. I don't
That's
wanna
what I'm
watch this
saying.
movie.
Anytime it doesn't have Nick Cage. So that, doesn't that
And-
mean he was a good actor in that movie?
People have been like giving me crap at like work because they're like, you you said it. You said he's a good actor. You already said like your podcast, and I'm like, we're being facetious.
Every scene he's in that movie, we loved. There wasn't a single scene that we were like, oh, he sucked. Like, we loved it. So I almost like retroactively want to give him a good actor in that movie because he did something that made me want to watch that movie. Without him in that movie, no one would know about it.
I think there's a difference between good and quality and entertaining. Like,
yeah,
he's entertaining, but I will not say that he is good.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair.
If
we're
I'm
not
having
asking
a metric,
entertaining.
You brought up Robert De Niro earlier. Like, I would say Robert De Niro is a good actor because he has range. Like, there's a certain level of range that you have to like dissect and like bring into the conversation. There's a certain like level of like in different roles and across the spectrum of somebody's roles in like movies. Like, can they bring it consistently and like transform as an actor into like a different character? Nick Cage is always Nick Cage. And people go to a movie because they know that Nick Cage is going to be Nick Cage and he's going to overreact and he's going to shout and he's going to yell and he's going to go crazy. And the thing is, like, the Arizona Republic is this paper down here, and it has been like cranking out articles like all week about Nicolas Cage. I don't know why. They must, I think, have heard our podcast and are starting to like really rip us off. So I might have to start lawyering up pretty soon here. But they've started like having all of these articles about like Nick Cage's new movie, Mom and Dad, and like Nick Cage's top 10 like craziest scenes, like, and I think they even like called them like the cagiest scenes and stuff like that. So like they're starting to really like tap into the Nick Cage zeitgeist, you know. And
Brock, you had me like 5 freaking minutes ago when you said there's a difference between good and entertaining. That's all you had to say, and I agree with you. He was not a good actor in Deadfall. He was not a good actor here, but he was entertaining as hell in Deadfall, and that's the difference though. It's not good, it's entertaining. So I agree with your sentiment there.
Ghost Rider's coming again.
There it is. Alright, let's sign out.
Well,
oh God.
So everybody, we are on Twitter. We're on the Twitter at WeGageCagePod.
Get the fuck out of here, Ghost Rider! Get out of here! We're done with you!
We're on Instagram, and we have a few posts up, and we'll keep posting at WeGageCagePod as well.
It's getting louder.
Otherwise, subscribe, and if you like us, if you like what we're doing, try to rate us and review, and that just bumps up our visibility so that more people can listen to us and find us. And
oh my God, what is that?
It's my water softener, baby. I gotta have that soft water in Arizona.
I'm glad that we had you do the outro. With all that going on, like I could have easily said it and like just silenced your end, but nah, we're gonna do it. It's the Ghost Rider.
Would you like to? You can easily cut. You are the editor extraordinaire, so you can say whatever you want.
All I'm gonna say is tune in next week. We'll have Zandalee. I know nothing about Zandalee. Brock knows a little bit about it.
I know so much more about Zandalee than I ever thought possible.
So tune in for that.
Get hype! Get hype!
Good luck with your balls!
Good luck with your balls!
Good luck with your balls!
Your water softened balls. Good luck with your water softened balls.
Yes.
And your lady balls.
Good luck with your balls.
And your puppy balls.
I want the last one. Good luck with your balls.